The NAR recently released their 2024 Home Buyer and Seller Generational Trends Survey. And so we're going to talk about what it is that sellers want from their real estate agent based on the level of service provided. So the most important thing, and 22% of all sellers, regardless of age range, said they want their real estate agent to help them sell their house within a certain time frame. And I know when I go on listing appointments, that is usually the number one question I get asked. How long do you think it's going to take us to sell this house? And depending on the location, depending on the price, that depends on the answer that I can give them. But they want a timeline. They just want a general idea. And most of my sellers have said, we're not going to hold you to that, but we just need to know if it's going to be 30 days or less, or are we looking more like 3, 4, 5 months on the market before we get our home sold. So giving sellers a timeline of how long it's going to take to get their home sold is the most important thing to them. And that makes total sense, because if they're selling a house, more than likely they're looking to buy another house, and they need to be able to coordinate those timelines, right? So the second thing was to help them price their home competitively. Now, a lot of times when I walk into a listing appointment, sellers already know what they want to ask for their house. And I always try to find out, where did you get that information? Where are you getting that from? And 9 times out of 10, the price that they tell me that they want for their home is less than the price I tell them their house is going to be worth in today's market. So that's always a nice surprise for some people when I walk in and they're like, well, I know that based on this, this, and this, we think our house is worth about X. And I say, okay, all right, well, let's talk about that. And then when I tell them what I think our list price should be, most of the time the sellers are pleasantly surprised with that. The third thing that sellers want their agents to do is to market the home to potential buyers. The fourth thing is to help them find a way to fix up their home to sell it for more money. And I think that is one thing that a lot of agents drop the ball on. I think they go into the house and they walk through it, they might make some notes, but they're not truly looking at it. So when I walk into a seller's home, I'm looking at it through a buyer's eyes. If I was coming to show this house, what are things about the home that I would point out to the buyer that are going to be negatives? And most of the time, the sellers are very open and very receptive to that. This is the information they want because they're used to living there. They may have known that the ceiling had a brown mark on it from a leak that happened 10 years ago and they got the roof replaced, but they're just used to it at this point. They don't even think about it anymore. So I try to take that time to point out to them some things they can do. They're usually not going to be high dollar items. It's going to be more time invested than money, but it will help them to sell the home faster and help them get more money. So if you're looking for an agent who can walk you through this process, who's been there before, make sure you reach out to me, Amy Shrader. You can send me a DM or leave a comment below.